Hi, good morning. In this video, I'm going to prove this inequality, okay? As for all x and y, we have absolute value of x minus absolute value of y inferior or equal absolute value of x minus y, okay? I'm going to use this inequality as a tool, okay, in order to get arrived to this inequality, okay? Let's start now. We have absolute value of x, okay, equal absolute value of x minus y plus y, okay? What I'm doing now, I'm just transferring one term into two terms, okay, by adding y and subtracting y in the same time, okay? So x minus y plus y equal absolute value of x, okay? So why I'm doing this one, to get this inequality as above form, okay? As above a form show, okay? So we already proved this one in previous video. We have absolute value of x plus y inferior or equal absolute value of x plus absolute value of y, okay? This is valid for all real numbers, okay? So this one is telling us to rewrite down this one on this form, okay? So this one, absolute value of x minus y plus absolute value of y, okay? Just now I'm going to bring this absolute value of y to the other side, okay? So absolute value of x minus absolute value of y inferior or equal absolute value of x minus y, okay? So this one equivalent, I'm going to change the negative sign inside of absolute value, okay? So absolute value of x minus absolute value of y inferior or equal. Let's take the negative sign outside of the both terms, so minus become minus y minus x, okay? At the same time, this one equal absolute value of y minus x. Keep in mind, the negative sign inside of the absolute value becomes positive, okay? So because the absolute value is always positive, that's why if you change your sign inside of absolute value, it becomes positive, okay? Because absolute value, okay? So let's move on to another inequality, which is y. Let's work on y now. So you have absolute value of y equal same what I did above, okay? So they say it will be the same thing. So y equal y minus x plus x in it is inferior or equal absolute value of y minus x plus absolute value of x. Remember, I'm always using this one, okay? I'm applying this one here from this one, okay? We have the two terms, absolute value of two terms, inferior or equal absolute value for each term, okay? To keep these terms which is on the right side positive, okay? Because individually we have absolute value of each term, okay? So let's bring x to the absolute value of x to the other side, okay? So absolute value of y minus absolute value of x inferior or equal absolute value of y minus x, okay? So if you see here, is the same. We have this inequality, both inequality, inferior or equal absolute value of y minus x. In the same thing on the other side, on the right side of this inequality, we see the same term here, okay, which is absolute value of y minus x. But on the left hand side of this inequality, you see the numbers. One is positive, the other one is negative. Absolute value of x in the first inequality is negative, with a negative sign in the second inequality. And also with y, we have absolute value of minus y in the first inequality, but in second inequality is positive. Okay, let's switch this one to put the negative sign outside of this first inequality or second inequality. Okay, let's change it here. So this one equivalent, let's put the minus outside of both terms, which is become x minus absolute value of y, okay, inferior or equal y minus x. Let's bring this one here to here. First inequality below second inequality, which is absolute value of x minus absolute value of y, inferior or equal absolute value of y minus x, right? So what this one is telling you, you have two terms. Let's put it as a big X, okay, big X inferior or equal this number, let's call it y, right? Same thing, we have x, big X, we have y, but one of these numbers, one is negative, second one is a positive, but on the right hand side we get the same number. What does it mean? This means absolute value of this number, which is x, is always inferior or equal y. Okay, I'm gonna show you in one example now. So this one, let's clean up this one to make our inequality clear. Okay, this one is telling you, you put number absolute value of x, okay, absolute value of x minus absolute value of y of inferior or equal absolute value of y minus x. Okay, I tell you in 1 second why. Now we prove it, okay, above inequality. You see, is already proved. So why I explain to you. Let's take two numbers 5 and 6 as an example to make this statement clear and correct. Okay, let's put 5. As you know, 5 is always inferior, strictly inferior than 6, right? Let's put minus 5 is also negative, strictly inferior than 6. Okay, what is this one telling you? This one is telling you absolute value of 5 inferior, strictly inferior than 6. Okay, keep in mind. So as you see here, this one is the same with this one, the same. Let's see, you see the number 5, this one, let's put it as the number 5. Let's put negative 5 as the second equality. Okay, first inequality, this one is 5 inferior, strictly inferior than second term on the right hand side, which is 6. Okay, but in the second inequality we have a negative sign, but you have the same number, minus 5 is always inferior or equal, as this statement says, is the same number. Okay, so this is just example. I'm showing you to this one. Thank you for watching. I will see you in next video. Bye. Real numbers